I'm Teresa, welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me here today. If you're new, then welcome and thank you for finding me. And if you're a regular viewer, thank you for coming back. Today we're going to be playing with alcohol inks. We're going to be having some fun, just creating some abstract art, doing a little bit of Zentangle doodling with some pens. Really simple, straightforward, and just one of those fun activities when you feel like creating without any pressure, without any expectations. So I will move this out of the way. I'll get all set up and I will be back to tell you what you need and how to go about creating this. As always, I'm going to begin with a quick rundown of the products that I'm using today. The paper that I'm working on is Yupo. I have this large A3 size pad. I had it from Amazon. It is linked in the Amazon storefronts in the description below, and I just cut it down. I've cut one of the sheets into 4, so this is the equivalent of an A5 piece of Yupo. And I've just got this on one of my piece of non-stick craft mats that I can just wipe clean any spillage, any overspill if there is any, just to protect my work surface. I'm using alcohol inks, and I'm going to be using Ranger alcohol inks. I'm going for a fairly neutral sort of colour palette today. I have lots of colours, and if you want to use really nice, bright and vibrant contrasting colours, then go ahead. But today I'm going to use pitch black, pistachio and cloudy blue, and I'm hoping that those 3 colours will create a nice subtle blend. I've also got some isopropyl alcohol. This I've just bought from Amazon. This is a 99% alcohol, and I've popped that today in a water brush, and this is one of the Arteza water brushes. Generally speaking, you fill the barrel with water, but I've filled it with the alcohol today, and I'm going to be using this just as a different way of applying the alcohol. Quite often I would drip alcohol on with a pipette or use the foam, the felt applicator little pads on a handle and use that. But I'm going to see if using one of these brushes gives maybe a little bit more control on the amount and helps me shape where I want my alcohol inks to move to. Now I have just labelled this to say that just on a piece of washi tape here to say that there is alcohol in here. That is just a quick tip, because obviously you can put lots of different things in these water brushes, and alcohol looks exactly the same as water in the same way that bleach looks exactly the same as water. So it is handy if you've put anything other than water in the barrel of one of these, just label what it is, and that will perhaps prevent some nasty accidents in the future. I've also got some pens for doodling. I've got some Uni Signo gel pens. I've got white, gold and silver. I like those. I'm going to use 1 or 2 of those. And I've got a couple of permanent fine pens here. I've got a Unipin fine line, that's a 0.05, and I've got a Sharpie ultra fine point there as well. So just a few options for a bit of doodling afterwards. But really, that's all I'm going to be using today. Obviously, my finished piece could be mounted and put in a frame. It could be used on the front of a greetings card. You know, there's lots of different things that we could use it for afterwards. But today I'm just going to enjoy the process more than anything, and just one of these sort of Zen doodles, just switch off and sort of tune out the real world and just enjoy creating just for the sake of it today. I'm going to begin by applying some of my ink. I'm going to start with the darkest one, the black, and put a couple of dots of that. I'm then going to add a little bit of pistachio, and some of the cloudy blue. And then using small circular movements, just going to start to move this ink about. Now you can clean off some excess ink onto some paper towel or a sponge. Once you're happy with the finished effect, you want to let this dry. Now I'm going to leave that. I like the variation that I've got. I've got the dark colour in the centre and I've got it fading out quite nicely. I think I'm pretty much happy with how that's turned out. And the thinner areas will dry very quickly, but if it's a little thicker in the centre, then obviously that'll take a bit longer to dry, but you want it to be dry before you come to try and do your doodling. So I'm going to leave this now, I think, and I'll come back to it when it's dry and show you how to complete the piece of abstract art. Once your alcohol ink is dry, and I'm pretty sure mine's dry, the thickest part still got a bit of shine to it, but it appears to be touch dry when I lightly dab it. So I think I'm going to be all right to go on. I've left this for about 15-20 minutes or so, and I'll come back to it. The room's quite warm, so just keep an eye on it, and obviously depending on the ambient temperature of your room and how thick your ink is in certain areas, just it shouldn't take more than about half an hour, 45 minutes, very most I would have said, to dry. So now we can do the fun part, which is start to do a little bit of doodling on here. Now I tend to like little dots and circles and stripes. That's the sort of my go-to patterns for this sort of thing. If you've done a lot of doodling or Zentangle and have your own preferred patterns, then go ahead and use them. If you're not sure what patterns you can do, go and have a look on Pinterest, search Zentangle, Zendoodle, and just have a little practice on some spare paper just to find designs that work for you. I'm going to begin by using my black pen and white pen, and I may add a little of the metallic. We'll see how I feel. But I'm basically going to use a light pen on the darker areas and a dark pen on the lighter coloured areas, just so that we're going to get some contrast and hopefully some balance. And the whole point of this really is not to overthink it that much, just sort of enjoy just sort of switching off and going with the flow, as it were. Keep going until you're happy with the finished result. I think I'm going to stop here. There are a couple more areas that I could probably do, but I like the fact that some of it has been left just without any detail in, and the detail is more clustered around the centre. So I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm really pleased with the end results. So I'm just going to move all this stuff out of the way, and I'll come back just with a little mount just to show you what it would look like put in a frame. And here's what it looks like inside a mount. I mean, I've just cut a mount from some black card here just to set it off. And I think it just helps you visualize what it would look like hung on the wall as a finished piece of art. But I really enjoyed creating this. I like just creating for the sake of it, for my own pleasure, and this is a perfect way to spend a couple of hours in the afternoon when you feel like just relaxing and enjoying being creative. So as always, if you enjoyed this video, please leave me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I shall see you again next week. But for now, that's all. Bye.